when you're moving from place to place. Good morning, good morning, morning, good morning, morning.
Welcome back to the morning show on Tobago Updates Television. Today is January 2nd, 2024. Yes, we are in the new year, a brand new year. And of course, again, we want to wish you Happy New Year to all our viewers and our followers on all our platforms. And we're always coming to you here live from the Port Mall in Scarborough, Tobago. We continue conversations with our guest in studio. And this morning, we're speaking with Rohdill Kirk, Superintendent of the Trinidad and Tobago Police Services. He's going to give us a crime update. Of course, the year started off hot, so we're going to get that update as it relates to crime, and we're also going to talk about safety for the upcoming Carnival season. As we know, in Trinidad and Tobago, as we head out of Christmas, we head straight into the Carnival season, so we're going to have conversations in that regard as well. Good morning, Superintendent, and welcome.
Good morning, Adanna, and good morning to your viewers and listeners throughout the world.
And I want to wish you a Happy New Year. And I know that the year started off hot. So, of course, we're going to get into that conversation, giving us the update as it relates to what happened over the last week and weekend.
Well, December seen as one of our most challenging months throughout 2023. It's where we have seen the increase in our violent crimes. As you are quite aware that we had a couple more murders within the month of December that are engaging our attention. Not only we concluded the year with the toll at 14, only to start at 1 on the first day of the year, which is really unfortunate. And again, I want to extend my deepest condolences to the family of Kareem Small, which he would have been one of the victims of yesterday's incident. Be that as it may, our officers are out on the field as we speak, and we could only do so much as we can. And the investigations are ongoing, and as we get any further information, we will provide that update as time goes on.
Right. I know in times past, especially in the recent past, when you bring updates to us here, usually the highest recorded crime would be like break-ins and burglaries. But now we're seeing that there are fatal crimes taking place on the island of Tobago. And we're wondering what could be the cause of this, one. And two, what can we do? What do we have to do? Because we've been implementing increased police presence. We've been sending out public awareness to our population here in Tobago. We have been doing the work. So what do you think contributes to this increase in this type of crime, and what can we do that is different to what we're doing now?
Right. Well, what I could tell you is that still remain our highest, as we refer to our total crimes, remain break-ins and larceny. However, in terms of the violent crimes, yes, our presence have been out there. We have done most of what we said that we were going to do. We put police officers on the streets. The thing about it is that policing is not entirely up to the police alone. We, the citizens, have to be more involved. We have to be more guarded in our space. We have to look out for one another, and if we do that, that will be a major contribution towards minimizing any incidents from occurring. Because when you see something and you call the police, I know you will get swift response.
Okay, so we have to go back to being our brother's keeper.
We have to go back to that. We have to go back, looking out. When you see the stranger in the neighborhood, call, find out, you seek that information. We used to do that. You used to call some people the village Mako. Maybe you have to go back to that. When we see somebody strange, let us find out about that person. Call the police to get information or to give information. And that will work out.
But the challenging thing about that, as you mentioned that, I remember going back in the day, you would know people who are in your community. You would know the faces, but there's been a lot of migration in communities around Tobago. So you see new faces. So it's kind of challenging to identify if a new face is a threat to the community or if it's just a migration into the community in terms of a new family moving in. So it's kind of challenging there.
Well, I'm saying you can't be too cautious. Because you must have a neighbor and if you see somebody by the neighbor, I think you should make it your business to know as well. discreetly or overtly or covertly, you could make it your business to know as well. It's for your own safety because you don't know if those person or person could come back and be some sort of threat to you. So it's just something about looking out and just being cautious. You need to take steps to do that. And that is all I'm urging, the citizens to do.
And as we're talking about that, we're talking now about preparing for Carnival 2024, sorry. And we're talking about how do we stay safe, how do we safeguard ourselves, our properties, and all that concerns us as we head on into that period again of revelry where people are, a little bit more loose. And of course, people will be outside of their homes, so their homes will be left unattended, stuff like that. What steps do we take to safeguard ourselves for those of us who participate in the revelry and for those of us who are at home or those of us who go to camp? What do we do to keep ourselves and our properties safe?
Right. Again, I want to say that this year we are focusing on SMART, safety measures aimed at reducing threats. So what we have to do as we go about, we have to be smart. When you go attending some of these fetes, you have to be smart in where you park. You have to be smart and if you intend to drink, you have your designated driver. If you are leaving home, make sure you don't leave the children unattended. Make sure that you minimize having these large amounts of jewelry and cash on you. You have to take smart decisions, make smart decisions in terms of, reducing that, making you a target. So this is what I'm saying, going about in these carnival fetes. We are seeing the trend. We are seeing that some crimes are increasing or crimes against persons are increasing. So you have to take that step to safeguard yourself. So that is first item. So these are some of the things in which you could do. And I sometimes urge people in terms of their valuables, make sure that they have some level of identifying marks in which is unique, that they can identify it if they should lose it at some stage. Take additional steps in protecting your space, whether it be by installing CC cameras, installing proper burglar proof, all of these things, because we are seeing the trend. You have to be proactive going forward. Take nothing for granted. So this is what we are urging as the police, that when you are going out now, make sure you exercise all the level of caution that you can. And in the interim, you too, have all the emergency numbers to the police at hand so that you could, in the event you need quick assistance, you have access to the police.
And you mentioned something about parking, something I didn't really consider before. Like when you go out to events, sometimes you just want to find a spot. Once you find a spot and you just park there. But you have to look out for things like proper lighting, whether there's a no parking sign.
Exactly.
What are some of the other things you need to look out for when you're parking to ensure that you're parked safely in a safe spot?
Well, the thing about it, you won't when you're going, you won't go in some people like to go up some kind of alley and just park, and then when you return, you go by yourself. You might people might be waiting for you. So even if you intend to do that, and you're approaching your vehicle, make sure you have some level of company or persons that you feel that could back you up in the event of anything, especially females. Try avoid being in areas by yourself. You're going down the line with friends, try and do that. You go into the bar, don't leave drinks unattended. All these things. But in terms of the parking, I am saying that if it is that you are going to an area and you realize that you may be far away from the venue, that is a red flag. Try and avoid that. Try and get as close as possible to the venue where you intend to go, especially for the females. I'm urging you. So these are some of the things that, I would advise, coming up in these carnival fetes.
Right, and we're talking about now persons who are out of their home, whether they're participating in carnival events or they're going camping. The home is something that's, we mentioned in previous conversations that break-ins are something that is kind of high, right? We spoke about how to safeguard the home, but still we're seeing records of break-ins. It's like the persons wanting to perpetrate, the perpetrators they're really studying how to do this.
Yeah, because they are, you see, that is their job, So they will do all they can within their power to make sure that they succeed. And you as the property owner have to do all that you can to protect. So I think now we are in the age of technology where we can be in Germany and see what's happening in your home. So people have to, invest in some of these technologies in terms where you could have a view of your home from wherever you are, from any remote location. So that is one of the things that I would advise. Or you have a reliable person to actually house it or take care or supervise your premises. You can do that. These are some of the measures in which you can initiate in terms of protecting your own personal property.
And some of the standard things that we talk about during participating in the carnival activities, of course, if you're taking your children with you, some of the teenagers, the parents will say, well, okay, you can hang out with your friends, meet me back here at 10 o'clock or 8 o'clock or whatever. What are some of the guidelines for those types of things?
Right. Again, take nothing to chance. You must make sure that there is some mechanism in place where you can communicate with your child or children when they are away from you in those circumstances, because you never know what could happen. So if you do that, set strict timelines, not just tell them go and come back when you set strict timelines. You have to be at this point by a particular time. If not, I will discourage it. But at the same time, make sure that there is that effective means of communication so that when you do reach out, there is some response to your child, right? Or if they should go a particular place, make sure that you have somebody to check in on them. Even so, if you're out, you could have somebody, some member from your group. If they are saying that they are going to be in point A, make sure and verify or check in with them. Those are some of the things that you can do to ensure that, everything is how it's said that it would be.
And in terms of the T.T.P.S aspect of it, I know for the October Carnival, there were central areas where people could come if something was happening in a crowded area that was kind of out of control for the crowd. They could always reach the police there and they could go to, sort of bring some level of calm to that. Is that going to be set up as well for Carnival?
In every Carnival, we have a venue operations center where there will be police officers, other agencies that would be there. So in case you need that level of assistance, it will be afforded to you. So that will happen in every major operation going forward. So yes, indeed, they will have the lost and found. They will have for children who are, who have been abandoned, or maybe, in some they got lost. Those areas will be set up in every carnival going forward from now.
Right, good.
Right?
Awesome. And I know sometimes also we have the children playing mass, kiddies carnival, and you sort of mentioned it as well. Children might get lost in the band. Somehow it happens. It has happened before, and it can happen. So of course that booth there is set up for children to gravitate towards as well.
Yes,
right?
but usually in the kiddies carnival we don't really get so much of those incidents because of the timeline that which it occurs, and
and there's
there are more
ample
eyes and
supervision.
visibility.
Right.
Yes.
That's right.
So
That's
we
right.
don't usually get that there. We get it more when the parents come to the events with their children, outside of the kiddies carnival. That is when it is more frequent.
And something I want to address also, sometimes the parents might go to events, or whatever they might be doing around that time. And sometimes, as you mentioned earlier, you talked about children being left home alone. And I want to address this because I know that there are some people who, whether it might be that they don't have the facilities for somebody to stay with the child or whatever, and they leave because it's a teenage child or whatever to stay at home. What is your advice where that is concerned, especially if the child is not yet 18?
Yeah, that is something I would totally discourage. We are looking at the trend. Take nothing to chance, as I said before. If you are leaving your teenage children, or I am saying that the law requires you to have some level of supervision for your children, not leaving minors unattended. You have to, and I say it again, you must put something in place to treat with the care of your children. You must have some appropriate adult or somebody to look over those children whilst you are not there. Because if it is that something happens, you will face the full brunt of the law if any harm comes to that child. right? So that is something I would totally discourage going forward. Don't leave your children unattended at home.
Right. So I'm so happy that we have this kind of advice and tips going forward into our Carnival season. What is something that you would like to tell our Tobago public as we started 2024? We see how it has started. What is your vision? What are your hopes? And what is your encouragement and admonition for the population here in Tobago to ensure that we work together to curb crime, that we live in a space that is safe, a space that is peaceful, a space where we feel comfortable for ourselves and our families, and that communities can thrive in comfort and in peace?
Well, I will go back to the basic principles, is that the police are the people and the people are the police. That was said by Robert Peel, Sir Robert Peel. I will ask people to change our mindset in Tobago. No longer, gone are the days when everybody views us as the persons who just sit back and relax and anything goes. We have to change our mindsets. We are seeing what is happening. We are seeing what is happening in Trinidad is spilling over, and we have to discourage that. We have to be more aware, self-aware of our environment, of our spaces, of our communities. People in Tobago, yes, we are the friendly kind, but sometimes we are overly accommodating. We just see a stranger pop in and we just embrace. We need to be more careful. We need to be more aware. So that I'm urging people in 2024. Again, I started by saying, leave nothing to chance. Don't take anything for granted.
All right. Thank you so very much, Superintendent Rohdill Kirk. Ladies and gentlemen, we've been speaking to the Superintendent. We're talking about safeguarding yourself for Carnival 2024 and general safety as we continue 2024. It's the early hours of this year, and we are just ensuring that we can remain safe, our properties can remain safe, our homes, our children, and all that concern us remain safe. And we always get these tips and advice from the T.T.P.S, and we're always so grateful that you can come and share with us. Ladies and gentlemen, we thank you so much for always choosing the morning show for your choice of information as it relates to things happening in and around the Tobago. We are going to go for a short break, but I want to remind you that when we come back, we'll be going straight on into the message from the Honorable Farley Chavez Augustine, Chief Secretary of Tobago, as he brings his message for 2024. And after that, we head on over to GMT. So we want you to stay with us even as we go to this break. This is your opportunity to share the live, share the live, share the live.
Inner Health, number 13B, Portmore, Scarborough, Tobago. With over 25 years experience offering services in and not limited to microscopic blood analysis, reflexology, and the sale of a wide range of organic herbal products used to supplement thyroid, lymphatic, heart, kidney, and brain health, and the male and female reproductive systems. Come and chat with us. Remember, your health is your wealth.